game is about to begin. The nerves running through all the players. They've already flipped the coin. You get the ball to start. Next up is the national anthem. Your team lines up on the sideline, but one of the players is missing. Your starting quarterback. He's in back kneeling. Why, you ask? He's trying to stand by kneeling. Kneeling for a social injustice in sports and in the world. These injustices date way back with slavery and unequal treatment all over the world. These injustices are everywhere. Many kids watch Netflix and the show Blue Mountain State is on there. This show portrays the college students and regular students blow off class and practice to party and drink all day. It shows the dark sides of these things, not the benefits to going to college. Of course, many people have different views on this subject, and that's why I'm going to inform you on the topic of social injustice in sports. Kickoff has just begun, but before we go into depth, let's go over some of our rules. Sean Gregory, executive writer at Times Magazine, reports, if you transfer colleges, you have 1 year of ineligibility for sports. But if you can get the NCAA to sign an ineligibility waiver, you're allowed to play. For example, if you move home to take care of someone sick or are in the military and had time away. Also, every second counts. Even 8 seconds in the preseason counts as a whole year of eligibility. Because those 8 seconds could be all you play that year, it counts as a whole year, and everyone gets 4 years in a redshirt year. This leads me to my first story, where a young man moved closer to home because his dad and brother were killed in a car accident. The NCAA rejected his ineligibility appeal because he wasn't moving home to take care of someone sick because they were already deceased. Some may question how you can take a stand by kneeling. Well, 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick is. Through all the racism and harsh conditions of being a pro athlete, kneeling for the national anthem doesn't help your case. John Elligan of the New York Times newspaper wrote the following column. Colin Kaepernick, the San Francisco 49ers quarterback who touched off a national debate when he chose not to stand during the playing of the national anthem before games, has embroidered a handful of other players to follow suit. In a continuing protest against racial injustice, Kaepernick knelt before a game Monday night while other players took a knee or raised their fist. The day earlier, 4 Miami Dolphins players knelt during the anthem, and a member of the Kansas City Chiefs raised his fist before a separate game, saying later that he had been acting in solidarity with Kaepernick. 2 players from the New England Patriots and 3 from the Tennessee Titans also raised their fists on Sunday. Those actions were considered radical because they happened amid a sports landscaping where provocative stances by prominent athletes have been rare, even during surging and searing national discussions over race, justice, and politics. If you don't know what you're up against, you're going to screw yourself, said Ricky John Franklin, a defensive end for the Washington Redskins. You may lose your job, you may lose your endorsement, you may lose your relationship with high-ranking people. Guys want to lose what they work so hard for through their whole career. Most athlete advocacy today tends to be in the support of established causes. Many influential athletes on social media or in occasional forum have made modest pleas against violence and for better race relations. Others have gone a step further. Miami Heat players posed for a picture wearing hoodies in 2012 after the shooting of Trayvon Martin in Sanford, Florida. In 2014, basketball players from college to the pros warmed up in t-shirts that declared, "I can't breathe," a rally crying for protesters after New York police officers' chokehold led to the death of Eric Garner on Staten Island. The University of Missouri football team last year refused to play until the university system president resigned over the university's perceiving handling of racial tensions. He resigned 2 days after the boycott was announced. Many people around the world have been affected by some type of injustice. In Colin Kaepernick's instance, some could say he just does what you do at home, watching the games on TV, sitting on the couch with your hats on instead of standing with your hand over your heart. Much of America has been shaken, where some are angry and others choose to revolt and help Colin fight his case. Now for your halftime entertainment, how about some historical events and scandals? Exhibit A, the New England Patriots. There's so many to pick between these guys, so I just picked a few. According to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, Deflategate, the 2015 AFC Championship game football tampering scandal, commonly referred to as Deflategate, was a National Football League controversy involving the allegation that the New England Patriots tampered with the footballs used in the American Football Conference Championship game against the Indianapolis Colts on January 18, 2015. The league announced on May 11, 2015 that it would suspend Patriots quarterback Tom Brady for 4 games of the 2015 regular season for his alleged part in the scandal. After the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell upheld the suspension in an internal appeal, the matter was moved to federal court. On September 3rd, 2015, Judge Richard M. Berman vacated Goodell's 4-game suspension of Tom Brady due to legal deficiencies such as inadequate notice to Brady, denial of opportunity to Brady to examine a lead investigator, and denial of equal access to investigative files. On April 25th, 2016, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals reinstated Brady's 4-game suspension of the 2016 regular season. After losing a request for a rehearsing, Brady announced on July 15th that he would not appeal further and would accept the suspension. Now, according to a bombshell report from ESPN's Outside the Line, the Spygate scandal, in which happened in 2007, the Patriots were caught videotaping opponents' defensive signals, and perhaps the primary reason the NFL tried to nail them for Deflategate. The report details Spygate as we've never heard it, painting a picture of systematic cheating that went way further and looks way worse for the Patriots than people previously realized. Rick Weinberg of ESPN says, baseball holds one of the biggest scandals of all time with Pete Rose. The evidence was so staggering that it was difficult to fathom. Records of phone calls after phone call made to bookies, sometimes just minutes before the national anthem. Records of bets one after another, day after day, on virtually every team, including the team he managed, along with the amount of the bet, nearly $20,000 a day being waged on bets. The baseball world and the world in general was staggered by the amount of evidence, leaving little doubt that Pete Rose, baseball's all-time hits leader and one of the greatest and celebrated players, has gambled on baseball and bet on his own team. Rose was known as a huge gambler, often seen at racetracks, but then rumors began swirling in early 1989 that he had gone too far, that he had actually gambled on baseball. Up next, the start of the third quarter. Many of these injustices are specific to a certain spot, but now I'm going to tell you about gender inequalities in sports. For example, men's basketball was invented in December of 1891, and women's was invented in 1996, according to WNBA.com. According to Forbes Online, the world's highest paid female athlete is tennis player Maria Sharapova, who is on top for the 9th straight year with $29 million in earnings from prize money, endorsements, and appearance fees between June 2012 and June 2013. This seems like a hefty amount until you compare it with Tiger Woods, who is the world's highest paid athlete with $78 million in earnings, including sponsorships, endorsements, etc. I hope to see the day where the phrase "you play like a girl" is no longer an insult but a compliment. The fourth quarter is now underway with a deadlock game at 17 apiece. Race inequality had a major impact on sports. Think about Jackie Robinson. Many of us think of him as just a good baseball player, but the University of Pennsylvania describes him as a major breakthrough athlete to break the color barrier and show all people of all races, colors, and cultures are equal and capable of doing the same things. Recently, there has been a lot of racism in sports, changing the way the game is played. ESPN News states that 2014 was filled with news stories about racism in sports. Although it seems we have made much progress in hiring practices in front offices and league offices, there are still racial issues in sports we must deal with both domestically and especially internationally. What was different about 2014 in sports were the newly raised voices of athletes speaking out on racial issues. The NBA dealt with two major incidents of racism: the leaked tape of Donald Sterling's remarks and Atlanta Hawks owner Bruce Levinson's self-reported email with racist content. A third owner's remarks were also questioned. The most widely discussed case was that of Sterling, the former owner of the Los Angeles Clippers. Although Sterling's racist comments were not news to many, given his past, hearing the shocking words on the audio recording was enough to have him removed as an owner of the team and handed a lifetime ban from Commissioner Adam Silver. 3 seconds left on the clock, down by 1 on the 52-yard line, and your team launches up the ball as time expires. While the ball is in the air, are you going to let these inequalities knock it down and win, or are you going to fight through adversity and come out with the ball on top of the pile? Look over to the side, and you see the back judge holding his hands in the air. Touchdown.